Alright, settle down everybody. Quiet please. The Keter class SCP we will be looking at today is SCP-058, the Heart of Darkness. As always, our thanks go to the Council and Administrators for bringing you this presentation, and now, let's begin. Description: SCP-058 resembles a bovine heart, with 4 arthropod-like legs used primarily for movement and 4 tentacles of adjustable length covered with razor-sharp spines. It has a single sharp stinger on its rear where the hole for the superior vena cava would be in a typical organ. SCP-058's tentacles can be whipped to a distance of 3.2 meters at speeds in excess of 320 kilometers an hour. SCP-058 is extremely hostile and will use every opportunity afforded to it to inflict damage on its surroundings. SCP-058 has been shown to be highly resilient to trauma and should be approached with caution even when apparently incapacitated. SCP-058 is highly mobile and capable of rapid movement on both horizontal and vertical surfaces. It has been recorded reaching a speed of approximately 90 km an hour in short bursts, covering distances up to 200 meters, and has the ability to accelerate from 0 to 90 km an hour in less than 2 seconds. It has been shown to use its tentacles for increased leverage and stability, as well as utilizing them to pull itself to other surfaces at high speeds. SCP-058 speaks in a human voice, though no method of producing sound has been observed in its physiology. It speaks with a vocal tone and accent of an elderly British male with a slight lisp and a deep voice. SCP-058 talks constantly, regardless of its conditions. Even when attacking, SCP-058's voice and pace of speech are unchanged. The speech of SCP-058 lacks any detectable correlation to events, persons, or exterior locations involved with SCP-058. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-058 is to be kept in isolation in a 5x5x5 meter containment chamber at all times. Walls are to be constructed of 3 meters of reinforced heat-resistant steel, backed with a further 10 meters of reinforced concrete. SCP-058 is to be fed a live cow every 3 days. Maintenance is to be conducted every 60 minutes while SCP-058 is dormant, and every 15 minutes while SCP-058 is active. Under no circumstances is SCP-058 to be allowed out of its containment area. SCP-058 is to be audio recorded at all times. No personnel are to listen to SCP-058 for more than 30 minutes at any time. In case of escape, facility is to be considered compromised, and detonation of on-site nuclear weaponry is to commence. To date, SCP-058 has been responsible for the death of at least 149 Class D personnel and 14 agents at its current site. Notes: SCP-058 was first encountered at Site as it came out of SCP-058 was extremely hostile and appeared to be very agitated. Initially, SCP-058 attacked Site, which resulted in the death of numerous staff and agents. SCP-058 went on to attack the nearby town of, resulting in the death of over citizens and the destruction of 70% of the surrounding buildings. Post-breach analysis determined a majority of the deaths are attributable to fire and fire-related injuries, resulting from a wide spread of stinger fluid by SCP-058 from a large structure. This is also blamed for a majority of structural damage. By SCP-058 accounts for only 8% of total deaths, with major evidence. SCP-058 was finally contained after being crushed and incapacitated by a large amount of masonry from a building that had collapsed on top of it. SCP-058 was then extracted and transported by agents and MTF teams. SCP-058 was contained for 3 weeks, during which it made minimal attempts to move, attributed both to physical damage and bloating during the initial breach incident. Testing during this period was limited, with SCP-058 still maintaining a high threat level even in its impaired state. SCP-058 breached containment on the during an attempted transfer to an SCP containment site, causing multiple deaths and injuries. SCP-058 was eventually incapacitated by an agent who managed to subdue SCP-058 by running it over with an M1 tank, pinning it beneath the armoured vehicle. SCP-058 was subsequently secured and transported to Armed Biocontainment Area 14. Transcript of SCP-058 interview. The following is a list of statements collected from SCP-058 during an interview. It completely ignored the interviewing doctor and killed the attending D-Class without skipping a beat. Let's have a listen.
I had dreams of the Queen Wonders that lived inside the hearts of love and silent treatments of all the elderly that I knew were once whole. I seek the revelations of all that the holy told to the unwise in the dreams of cold embers in sunlight that fade across lakes of black blood and snakes that eat the loaves of children from lamb trees in autumn. Endless suffering is the woe of ignorant men who never lack to seek the depth of their own hearts and only see the wealth of a poor world suffering to flay its own back in knife wounds of silver and brutal gladness. The nightmare is a dream to the nameless slug that wanders across minefield and the remains of deer and kings. Nightshade is shadows in all honest blinks that sort through the bile of newborn plagues. Instant warmth is a mother's milk in dreams before anything was ever evil. In seconds the sun is beating like drums in all hearts eat the ear of noise. The sensual violence of lust is all the assurance you will ever need to know the worth of life.
And with that, the presentation is over. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. New intro format. Give me some feedback on what you thought. Massive shout out goes to the guys and gals over at SCP Fragmented Minds for providing this footage of SCP-058. It's actually their own in-game model of SCP-058 that will be featuring in the title. All the links can be found below in the pinned comment. Please go and show them some love, follow them on all their outlets, and even consider sending them $1 or $2 to support their work. A big thank goes to the patrons and channel members who make all this happen. Please consider joining them. And thank you to Rick Trexon, Generals Alert, Sam B, JT Walker Horizons, Dr. Soup, Jax Merrick Alexander, Number of the Yeast, Dr. Rome and Fallen Angel. Big thanks to the council members Arc Toast, Kibara, Len Hox Captain Core, Hunter Killer, Tree Arctos, Romulus the Commissar, Cat Clone, Pepperfish, Arbiter Soul, Kilo and Bob. And massive thanks to the administrators Viger, Kamana, Panzer, Wunderschnell and A15 Demon Snake. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you all soon, and take care.